The presenters tonight will be Dr. Steve Chaney, who has a PhD in biochemistry from UCLA, and he is Professor Emeritus from the University of North Carolina, where he taught biochemistry and nutrition to medical and dental students for over 40 years. He won numerous teaching awards, including the Academy of Educators Excellence in Teaching Lifetime Achievement Award, and then he ran an active cancer research program at UNC and has published over 100 scientific articles and reviews in peer-reviewed journals. So we're just absolutely just thrilled and pleased that we have Dr. Chaney here as kind of our resident expert, and then Hannah Sharapan, and along with me, Jonette Coogan. We have decades of experience in Shaklee. We're quite familiar with Shaklee products. We love sharing them and have helped countless numbers, hundreds of people, to better health. And the three of us will be talking tonight about the weight of the nation and what we can do about it.
The Weight of the Nation. This was a very interesting book that came out a couple of years ago. It was a joint project with Home Box Office, so they aren't the sort of medical arm of this, but it was the Institute of Medicine. They're the ones that set the RDAs and recommendations and that sort of thing. They really did a lot of research about weight and weight loss and weight control and what's true and what isn't true, and put it together in a book. HBO turned it into a video series, and there's a link where you can find the HBO videos.
Okay, great.
Okay, so what we really know is that overweight and obesity is a tremendous problem in this country. Probably all of you have heard that over 2/3 of us, actually 69%, are either overweight or obese. That's 2 out of every 3 adults. But it's not just the adults. It's getting bad for children as well. 1 out of 3 children. Now, here is a direct quote from that Weight of the Nation book. And you might think about, because you've heard of all the hype about, well, maybe if we just didn't eat this, if we ate this magic fruit, or we didn't eat this food, that would make all our problems go away. So I love this quote. First, we blame fat, and low-fat diets didn't work. Well, we've heard that before. Mm-hmm. Then we blame carbohydrates, we blame eggs, red meat, dairy, white flour. You've heard about the gluten and how that's supposed to cause us to gain weight. Sugar, juices, sodas, high fructose corn syrup. You probably heard that one. Partially hydrogenated fats. And then here's the rest of the quote that's really interesting. One by one, we replaced the evil food du jour, the evil food of the day, and watched our collective waistlines grow. So the bottom line is none of that stuff is really true. There's no one food that's making us fat. So again, the projection is this is just going to continue, maybe not at quite the same rate, but by 2018 they're projecting that 75% of us are going to be overweight or obese. And the cost is really high. I mean, the CDC tells us obesity is associated with 112,000 deaths per year, that obesity costs more than $73 billion in lost productivity, $150 billion in direct health care cost, and $139 billion in indirect costs. So $150 billion in diseases that are directly related to obesity, and another $139 billion in those that are more loosely connected to obesity. And we think about, all these projections about how Medicare and Medicaid are going to go bust, they're going to go belly up, and I don't care which side of the political spectrum you're on, half of that cost of obesity is being paid through Medicare and Medicaid. We could make a huge difference, pardon the pun, if we just could control that one aspect, the overweight and obesity.
And that'd be a lot of extra money for education and
for everything else that we want to. Yes.
Right. And when we say obesity is making us sick, when I looked at these statistics, it made me feel sick because it's so truly sad commentary on how obesity is a common cause, actually, of type 2 diabetes, which is largely preventable and sometimes even reversible. But look at these statistics going along with what Steve just has said. 80% of people with type 2 diabetes are overweight. 24 million Americans have it. 79 million more with prediabetes. Having trouble speaking. 90% of people with prediabetes and 25% of people with type 2 don't even know they have it.
Wow.
That's quite surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then a person with type 2 is really 4 times more likely to have a heart attack or stroke. That's a really scary statistic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think at 50 years old, if you have that, you're going to die 6 years earlier. A 10-year-old could die 19 years earlier if nothing is done to help reverse the situation. And we say it's making us sick. Unfortunately, it isn't even just diabetes that's a result of obesity. Look at the other ailments. Increase in cancer risk as much as 20% in men and 14% in women. And I bet most of us never thought of it increasing the risk of developing dementia.
No.
But look at that, by 70%. And kidney disease, I have heard about having a relationship there, but 83% is really high. Arthritis is more common. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You know, these are some of the things didn't even exist 20 years ago, and now 25% of Americans have that. And that's one of the reasons for the rapid increase in need for liver transplants. And by the way, while we mentioned about fatty liver, a Dr. Hans Nieper from Germany made the statement that the dishwashing products that have harmful ingredients, like the products in our country, although he said Shackley's was not, are one of the causes of fatty liver disease. So I thought that was
I've
quite
read that
interesting.
too, yeah.
So changing brands all the way around can make a difference.
Good point.
So, you know, here's the deal. The causes of this is complex. There are some, you know, we've got a lot of powerful mechanisms in our bodies and our brains that cause us to gain weight and interfere with losing it. And so we're going to go into that in a minute, but, you know, we're really hardwired to gain weight. And we know you have to kind of swim upstream if we're going to change that. Here's Dr. Rudy Leibel, a molecular geneticist, that estimates there may be as 100 genes that favor food-seeking behavior. So we're hardwired to want to eat more.
Go ahead, Jim.
So this is why, you know, why if we understand, you know, that we were designed for one world and we're living in another. Our bodies were designed for Paleolithic times. And I'm not talking a Paleolithic diet here, but I'm talking about feast or famine. When you think about hunter-gatherers, you know, they might get a caribou, they might get a saber-toothed tiger for a kill, and then it might be a week or 2 weeks or a month before they found another one. So they needed to be able to store as many calories as possible when food was plentiful. That was absolutely essential to survival. That's why we have these 100 genes that drive us to eat as much as possible. And how do we store those calories? Well, we store them as fat. So our bodies are naturally programmed to store fat as a buffer against famine, against the month it might take us to find that next caribou or saber-toothed tiger. So our bodies and brains have that ability to suppress the feeling of fullness when we're consuming animal fats. So we easily overeat. Our brains absolutely require sugar. Without sugar, you know, I guess some of you who have problems with hypoglycemia may recognize that when your blood sugar gets low, it kind of seems like your brain checks out. And I mean, you may have experienced that, but, you know, if our brain goes too long without sugar, it's going to die. So our brains need sugar 24 hours a day, but in the natural world, sugar's a rare commodity. If you think about it, ripe fruits weren't available year-round. You didn't have the supermarket you could go into and get your pears and your peaches and your, whatever it is. And if you wanted honey, you had to fight the bees for it. So you didn't have a good source of sugar all the time. So our bodies are designed to crave fat, to crave sugar, to eat as much of it as possible when it was available.
For survival, right?
For survival purposes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Which is so different today when we go into a restaurant today. Have you noticed how the portions have literally tripled? And, when you think about it, how many people you see carry out bag because they have not finished the dinner because the portions are so large. That's actually probably a good thing because think of the amount of people that sit there and they do eat the entire food even though the portion is tripled. So food's available everywhere. They have vending machines even in the schools now, in many schools, unfortunately. What's happened, the difference in farming, and, of course, today, a quarter of all vegetables consumed are French fries and potato chips. People actually consider that having a vegetable. I was appalled. Our grandchildren's school in the Cleveland area started a breakfast program for children who need to have breakfast at school, and they gave the month's menu. There was not one single thing in the entire menu for a whole month that was healthy. I mean, it was like the Fruit Loops and that type of thing. It was just absolutely scary. I feel sorry for those teachers that have those children that have that diet, too.
Kids bouncing off the walls.
Right. Because, when you think that the average American today who doesn't have to preserve like they did in the Paleolithic days, we have 2.5 pounds of sugar a week per person. Wow. On average. I mean, that's pretty scary. And our bodies are programmed now to store that as fat. So our bodies were designed for one world, but we're really living in a very different world today, of course.
And that's the problem. That's why we have this obesity epidemic. Our bodies are hardwired to store the fat, to take the carbohydrate, to crave fat, to crave sugar, and to convert it all to fats so we can guard against the next famine. So that's why knowing your BMI is a great place to start. And basically what you're aiming for is a BMI between 18.5 and 24.9. Overweight is 25 to 29, to just under 30. Obese is more than 30. Morbidly obese is 40 and above. And if you want to calculate your BMI, rather than complicated calculations, just go to the Shaklee product guide on the Shaklee 180 page.
I've heard a lot of people express surprise when they've gone there and, checked out their BMI and couldn't believe that they were in the obese or morbidly obese category. So I think truth and reality can go a long way to helping us realize what the actions we have to take.
So let's take this and look at that, what I talked about earlier, and put it into progress. So I think this is an animated slide, and I think you control it. So if you would click, Joe. So basically, okay, here we are. We're going through it. So you start off, and if you're overweight, you diet. Now here's the other part of how our bodies are hardwired. When you decrease your calories, you're going into what we call the famine response. You haven't had a saber-toothed tiger for a week or two, so your body it's famine time. So what does your body do? It tries to hold on to those fat stores as long as possible so that you can make it to the time you find that next saber-toothed tiger. So what happens is you don't just lose weight from fat. You also lose lean muscle mass. But that's counterproductive because muscle burns calories faster than any other tissue. So that reduces your metabolic rate, and you actually end up with increased fat storage. So you have a higher percentage of fat to muscle in your body. And what will eventually happen is because of that, you lose calories. Joe, would you go ahead to the next slide? I wanted to see if that explanation is in here. Okay, one more. Nope, so we'll go back. We've shortened it here. But what happens is every time your metabolic rate, as you continue to lose lean muscle mass, your metabolic rate decreases. Eventually, you get to the point where your metabolic rate gets so low, you can't take off the weight anymore. And that's when you plateau. You've lost so much muscle, your metabolic rate's gotten so low that what was working when you first started the diet no longer works. You reach that plateau, you're still doing everything that you were doing before. You're following the rules, you're cutting your calories, you're really trying your darndest, and the weight just stops coming off. So what happens when you reach that plateau? Well, you get discouraged, you fall off your diet, and you start eating again. Now we're into the feast response. Now remember, what does your body do with all of those extra calories? What are we hardwired to do when we're in the feast response? Well, we store those calories as fat. We don't store them as muscle. So your metabolic rate stays low, you regain the weight, and now you actually regain more weight than you did before because your metabolic rate isn't as high as it was before you went on the diet. So that's the yo-yo diet cycle.
Explained so well.
Yeah. It's easy to see when you get caught up in that, how it can be pretty devastating.
So this is where the Shackley program really is great, because you've got excuse me, Shackley says it's powered by leucine. So that extra leucine really helps to, what it does, it stimulates, and I think if you click it shows it'll show it here. Yeah, so the leucine promotes satiety, which basically means it keeps you from feeling hungry. But the most important thing it does is it's a specific signal that causes a body to retain, and if you're working out, even build lean muscle mass. So this supports your metabolic rate because you're preserving muscle, and it does it without any dangerous drugs or herbs or stimulants.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's a good portion of why we're so excited about our Shackley 180 smoothie mix, for the reasons that Steve so well explained. A great way of getting 24 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber. It's low glycemic, it's gluten-free, nothing artificial in it, and also we've been told that it is considered the best breakfast on the planet and the single best meal that a diabetic can have. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, we have that proprietary blend that allows us to have that kind of meal. And it comes in these wonderful 4 flavors. And then there are the wonderful meal bars. So, like I was talking to somebody yesterday who has lost so much weight that actually we'll have him as a guest speaker at another time. But he said that he has the smoothie every morning, and he has a meal bar for his lunch. So he doesn't get tired of one or the other. And he gets that chewing feeling, of course, he's satisfied when he has the bars. So some great options for us. And, of course, we have a few more meal bars now than those 2 flavors.
Oh, and then there are the snack bars, and again, you really, one of the things I think that people do that is counterproductive when they're trying to lose weight, they say, I'm not going to snack. I'm just going to maybe, sometimes they'll skip breakfast, they'll just try to have a lunch and a dinner and go and have nothing in between. And the problem is that your blood sugar levels decrease, and you start to get hungry, and then it gets much harder to follow your diet. And you tend to reach for whatever's handy. It really is better to plan your day so that you start out with a healthy breakfast, and then you have small snacks on a regular basis during the day, that provide protein, that have low glycemic index, and provide fiber, and also the extra leucine. And that's where the exactly snack bars are so important. They help to smooth out your blood sugar. They help to defeat those cravings. They help to keep you on track.
Good points. Yeah. And so we have the Shackley 180 smoothie mix. We have the meal bars. We have the snack bars. But then I love these additional products with this energy tea mix. I don't know how I could get through a day without having my Shackley 180 tea. And it's just this. It's safe. It's natural. It's healthy. It's effective. There's only 5 calories per serving. Mixes with hot or cold water, but I love it because it does boost energy. It's like a liquid oomph, and they come in little packets that you can throw in your briefcase or your purse or your suitcase or your diaper bag or your tote bag, and so you always have one around, and mix it. You can put one in a bottle of water, or like I said, you can use it with hot water. But the energy tea mix, I think that product is exemplary. And if you start to do any kind of research on the red, white, green, and matcha teas that compromise our energizing teas, you learn some incredible things in terms of what these teas will do. And like it says here, for centuries they're believed to be antimicrobial, immune stimulators, anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory, protective against cardiovascular disease, a detoxifier, in addition to being an energy and fat loss stimulator. So I just think the energy tea, even if you don't have an ounce to lose, this is a great product to consider adding to your daily routine. And then the metabolic boost, I think, is wonderful because it helps you to boost your calorie burning mechanisms in the body. And as it says there, the ingredient in metabolic boost, the EGCG that comes from green tea, increases calories burned from fat by 30%. And if you think about what Dr. Chaney has already shared with us, that need to burn the fat, because our body wants to store, calories as fat. And then in addition, it helps to retain normal blood sugar levels, which controls cravings, so you don't get those rapid shooting blood sugar going up and then having a dramatic fall to it, and then you start to crave the things that you shouldn't be craving. So these are just 2 additional products that to me are just wonderful assets to the program.
Oh, I so agree. And many of us, in fact, I think that they consider one of the most popular snacks in our country are some sort of chip. Yes, people like chips. And so I was very excited because I'm one of the ones that like chips. So I was very excited when Shackley came out with our snack crisps, which are so good, both the sea salt and the barbecue. And, of course, when you think only 100 calories per bag, 7 grams of protein, try and find another chip of any sort that has that kind of protein. And, of course, gluten-free is great for me and all the rest of us who don't want to have gluten in our diets. I love the fact, again, our non-GMO aspect to our products. And I also love that you can serve these. If you are going to have a dip, you can have something healthy. You can have hummus. You can have guacamole. And we often have served these with those 2 dips, and everybody just loves that combination. So great healthy way, great healthy addition.
Yeah, I love the sea salt snack crisps, and you're right, they really satisfy that desire to have something salty and crunchy, and it's just a great to have around.
Well, Alan I'm just going to quickly tell you, Alan came up with the idea that when we go to the movies, instead of having popcorn and things like that, it would be a good idea to take the snack crisps. And I said, we will annoy everybody within several feet of us because they're so crunchy. But what we do, we actually go, we just let the suck on them a little bit, and they get nice and soft, so we can still eat them that way.
Great idea. And now we have a couple of real-world testimonials for you. Kathy Olmstead, who was in Chicago with us this weekend. And Kathy, are you there?
I am.
Well, will you tell us a little bit about your weight loss journey?
Well, Barb talked to me earlier this evening and asked me if I would speak, and she asked me why this diet worked for me where other ones had failed.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So I kind of thought about it, and I came up with 8 kind of reasons that I think it worked for me. Number 1 was to make a commitment. And looking at that picture, I should have made a commitment a long time ago. But I made a commitment to lose weight and get healthier. I had grandchildren to think about, and I just wanted to change my ways. The 180 plan is wonderful. It's easy to follow. It's easy to do. I took my meal bars and had them for lunch at work. And the number 3 reason, I learned to make good choices and good shakes, which was really important because at first I thought I was going to be drinking chalk. Once I learned to make a good shake, I am in love with them. I'll never not have a shake for breakfast ever. I lost weight really quickly, which really gives you incentive. I think during the first 2 months I lost almost 40 pounds, and it was amazing. I had more energy, and I really felt great, and that's all incentives to keep going with it. I love the program. I learned definitely to eat healthier. I read up on different things on Shackley to find out what I should be eating, and I learned a lot. I got rid of potato chips, got rid of pop, got rid of everything that was bad for me, and I stuck with it. I think probably the most important thing was I had support, and that was my daughter. She was there every step of the way with me, giving me encouragement, trying to make sure I stuck to it, and I did, and I feel great. Shackley is my favorite thing in the world now.
Well, not only do you look great or feel great, you look fabulous.
Yes, I'll say.
Wow.
Like that picture, oh my goodness.
Well, but you did, you like you said, you should have done something sooner, but you did do something, and that's what's important. So you lost 82 pounds over a year with the Shackley 180 program.
I did, and
Congratulations.
I plateaued, but I'm getting back on it again, and I'm going to lose a couple more.
Wow.
And isn't that's one of the real advantages, I think, to the program, too, is that, you can lose the weight you want, and then you can go on, like 1 meal a day of Shackley 180, and then if you, over the holidays or you misbehave for a while, you can go back on the full program again and get that extra weight off, and it's a great program. It has some good flexibility to it.
It does, and I gained 2 pounds over the holidays, but I lost that already.
Of course, great.
Good for you.
Well, thank you, Kathy, so much for sharing your story. We appreciate your doing that.
And no problem.
Yes.
I'm a definite Shackley convert, and I absolutely love the whole program, and I think it's a great thing for everyone who can get on it.
Good. Thank you. Good words. Great. And the next person that we have, we're going to a few logistics here. I think I've got to find Mark. Is Tara Alexander that Mark and Ashley Chaney have worked with her. And Mark, wait. Good evening, Mark. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. We're double logisticking. We have Ashley and Tara actually calling live from a Zumba class that they're taking right now. So I believe I have them patched in. Are you guys with us?
We're here.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you.
Well,
okay.
This is Ashley. Hi.
You're going to have to speak up a lot louder, Tara. We're having trouble hearing you.
This is Ashley. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you, Ashley.
All right. I wanted to introduce Tara. I spoke about Tara at the conference in Chicago, at the Lagoni conference in Chicago, and had talked about how we built a relationship with her, and through that relationship and just caring about her fitness needs, we ended up sitting down talking about 180. And so Tara is here to share a little bit. I'm so excited that she's here. So I'm going to pass her over. Just 1 second.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hello, Tara. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So I just wanted to share a little bit about my story.
Be sure you're talking clearly into the phone.
Can you hear me?
Yep, right now we could.
Wonderful. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my journey with Shockley so far. I've known Ashley and Mark for a little while now. We've been going to the same church now for about 5-6 years. And they decided that they were going to have a fitness class at the church, completely free, not selling any Shockley products, but just, really caring about the community and the church and getting everyone involved in doing at least weekly fitness and networking. So through that, Ashley was very nice to invite me to a nice little dinner. And we started talking just about, fitness and goals and where I'm at. And I actually work for McDonald's. I've been working for McDonald's for about 2 years, moved up rather quickly, and am now general manager licensed. But I've been feeling like a little bit of a void, not really being able to help people live healthy lifestyle. And it was kind of holding me back and feeling a little bit guilty to a certain extent. And I was expressing to Ashley that I just really wanted to get involved with something where I was helping people. And she immediately was like, Shockley, this is for you. You deserve to be with us on Shockley. I have so much to tell you. She's like, I get to do this every day, meet with my friends, and just share with them how to live a healthy lifestyle, how to live a greener lifestyle. And it's no pressure for sale. It's all about, living a good Shockley lifestyle and bringing that into, your daily life and your work. So I decided, hey, I'm going to sign up for 180. I have some pounds to lose. I'm going to do this. So we ordered the 180 kit, and I immediately went gung-ho with this. And I was like, I love the products. Within the first week, I was already dropping weight. And I have lost, to this moment, 18 pounds.
Great.
I'm down 10 inches in the past month and a half.
Wow.
And I was told prior to this by my doctor, because I have a mild form of hypothyroidism, I was told that I was not going to be able to lose weight without medical help because my body was not going to respond to anything. And the fact that I lost 18 pounds in such a short amount of time was just, it spoke way beyond anything else that I've heard of or tried. And I was just like, I don't know why I would spend $500 plus medical treatment weekly going to get blood work done to lose weight when I could easily just switch to Shockley and be healthy about losing my weight. So that alone spoke volumes. So I was like, I got to tell everybody about this. So I became a business builder.
Well, good for you, Tara.
Smart move.
I joined the company, and I've been, sharing my success story with other people, getting involved with the Zumba classes.
Oh, that's great. And I love your story that you were told you couldn't lose weight unless you had medical help, and now you can spend that $500 on good food to get healthy.
Right. Oh, exactly. That's like the best part about it. You're really using all the tools that Shockley really has, like the My 180 on your phone, really helps me, stay focused, keep track of what I'm eating, logging in my food, logging in my activities, and just seeing the progression of where I started and where I'm at now has been great. And sharing that with other people and getting other people on board and watching them go through the same success that I've been going through, and talking to people about Shockley's vitamins and cleaning products has also been such a joy in my life. And using the products has been great. And I'm actually getting my first check from Shockley on the 15th of this month, which is really exciting for me.
Great. That's
I feel like I'm really going in a good direction here.
Yes. Congratulations. And thank you for joining us this evening to share your story. It was great. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Well, it's the personal, real life, real world stories that make a that can be inspiring and motivating for us to do the same. So, Steve, do you want to just kind of wrap up here for us?
Sure. I mean, I think the stories you heard tell it all. But if you, it really is a lifestyle change. The Shackley 180 program is great, but you don't want to be just eating junk food and trying this. So, aim for those 6 to 9 vegetables a day. When you're the foods that you are eating, don't eat a lot of what I think Barb calls the carby, salty foods. You want to not have a lot of simple carbohydrates and sugar. That's going to zap your energy, make your blood sugar plummet. And remember, our bodies are going to convert that to fat. I really recommend adding the Vitally or Vitalizer, so you've got that foundation, that nutritional foundation, so you've got enough energy to support your activities. B-complex, many people find that it helps with preventing the carb cravings. And walk a mile a day, that little buddy that Shackley has, so you can keep track of your steps, or Fitbit or whatever you use. You want to keep track of your steps and aim for that activity.
And I think 10,000 steps is about 5 miles a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It doesn't say that there, but that's, and I think it was Harvey Pasternak who, wasn't he the one that's a strong proponent of those 10,000 steps a day?
Yeah, I think Harley. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a strong proponent of that, but you will find that in many fitness, many health and fitness experts.
Yeah, you gotta move. You gotta move.
Right.
If you're not doing the 10,000 steps a day, maybe a Zumba class or two will do it for you.
Yeah. Zumba.
You get pretty good activity there.
Certainly do.
Hannah, do you want to finish up for us by telling us what the special Shackley 180 offers are that are running right now?
Well, as I said in the beginning of the call, isn't it really great that our company allows us to even get extra goodies as extra motivation and extra incentive for something that we want to be doing anyhow, and that's sharing this to help other people to get their weight where they want it to be, to have a healthier you. So the Shackley 180 special offer is that if anybody, new member distributor, joins with the Shackley 180 or the Lean and Healthy Kit or the Smoothie Kit, which is like the 4 cans of smoothie for the month, they'll receive a box of the Shackley 180 Blueberry and Almond Meal Bars, which is over a $30 value, for free. So I think that's great. So that's like getting another 7 meals paid for. Now, for those people who are already existing members, distributors, and associates who also purchase any of those same kits, the Shackley 180 Turnaround Kit, the Lean and Healthy Kit, or the Smoothie Kit, they will also receive a box of the Shackley 180 Blueberry and Almond Bars for free. 7 free meals. And when you, as the builder or business leader, when you sponsor any new member with this Shackley 180 kit, you'll receive a box of the Shackley 180 Vanilla Smoothie Packets, which is incredible because that's how many other free meals too. As they say, they're a $60 value. I think that's a great one. So, in other words, not only will your members or your brand new people be getting the benefit of the bars, you also will be able to benefit by getting the smoothie packets. And then, if you really want to go for this, the top 10 distributors who are sponsoring new people with the Shackley 180 kit during this period, which ends January 31st, 2015, you will also earn a free single-serving blender.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So that's our presentation for this evening. We've covered a lot of information and material. You've heard 2 very inspiring stories, and we would encourage you to, check with your upline, with the person who invited you to the webinar for some more specifics for your particular situation. And we have some questions. So Steve and Hannah, if you would just hang around for a couple minutes, that'd be great. Richard Beers says, I've got to lose 10 pounds to make the weight limit for a sailing team in a regatta in Miami in March. Go,
wow.
Richard. You can do it.
Yeah, we'll cheer you on.
That's right. And you can be part of Shackley's 10-pound weight loss challenge.
Yeah.
Right. 40,000 pounds for
And
the
for
nation. That's going to set the record.
You can be one of those 4,000 people who lose the 10 pounds. So do your part.
Right.
It's a good cause. Anne asks if there's a way to print or copy the illustrations. This webinar will be archived at betterhealthin31days.com. So it's all one word, betterhealthin31days.com, and you'll have the PowerPoint available to you there. Somebody's telling us that the BMI guide is not in the 2015 product guide.
I was going to say I can't picture it there.
So find somebody with an earlier product guide.
Right. And you know what? My guess is if you can't find it, I bet you could find it by just Googling that or putting it in search.
Yeah.
You know.
You can find everything by Googling it nowadays.
Yeah, right.
Stacy says, some days I feel like I'm overeating and struggle to get all the planned calories. It's amazing what good nutrition does. Okay.
And it's interesting. Sometimes when I work with people very closely, I actually have to tell them to eat more rather than less.
Yeah. Interesting. I had to suggest to a mom that she may want to use the energizing soy protein instead of the vitalized protein due to her son was entering a public high school as a sophomore athlete from being home educated without the athletic exposure that was present for the reason of rebuilding. In his instance, more likely building depending on the sport. I'm not sure what this is saying.
A lot depends on his age and that sort of thing. Did she say high school, I think you said?
Yeah, I think that's
okay. So, my recommendation would be the 180 smoothie mix because of the added leucine.
Yeah.
That's going to help him more to build muscle, particularly if he uses it after a workout, after a practice.
Good point. Do you need Vital E when you drink the smoothie?
Yes.
Yes, the smoothie only provides 1/3 of the RDA or the daily value for many of the essential nutrients. The Vital E is more complete and provides more nutrients. And of course, Vitalizer is even better.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Is there a difference between the 180 shake and the Vitalized protein shake?
Absolutely. The 180 shake is the one that provides the extra leucine. The vitalized protein does not.
Right. Big difference there. How do we figure out our fat percentage in relation to our weight, not our BMI?
That's a little bit complicated, but if you will go online again and Google that, there are formulas that are based on height, weight, gender, body type, and so you can find them there.
Okay. And what if someone cannot eat soy?
Again, with the 180 smoothie mix, you have the whey version.
Yeah. Which is nice that Shackley has those options for us.
Yeah.
Can you ever overeat on fruit?
Absolutely. You can overeat on anything.
Yeah.
But, and again, fruit is very good, but fruits tend to be higher in sugar than vegetables, so you really want to have a balance of fruits and vegetables, and probably a little bit higher in the vegetables than the fruits.
Mm-hmm. Steve, you could probably talk to this one. If someone is avoiding soy due to breast cancer fear, what should they use?
Well, again, they can use the whey version. Shackley is looking into even other protein sources, but I will tell you that where the difference between Shackley and other companies is that Shackley just doesn't say, okay, we're going to make a pea protein or some other kind of protein. They first really source their materials very carefully and check for purity. And until they find sources that will meet their purity standards, they don't just come out with other ones willy-nilly. So right now you've got a whey version if you're concerned about the soy version. I will tell you the concerns about soy are unfounded. If you actually look at the clinical studies, soy protein decreases the risk of breast cancer by around 25%.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Actually, an oncologist at the Cleveland Clinic told one of our consumers that she would greatly reduce her risk by using Shackley's protein, and he told her he wanted it as well for his own use.
And by the way, so if you want, one of the things I've done is on the website I provide, it's called healthtipsfromtheprofessor.com. That's where you can sign up for my weekly blog, but also you'll find some free videos on there, one of which is the truth about soy. And that video really lays out the myths about soy and which are true and which aren't.
Actually, it's really very, very good resource for us. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Do the vanilla packets for distributors count even if a new member signs up with the Lean and Healthy kit?
Well, not according to the information on the internet. It just said for anybody with a 180. So I guess we'd have to double check to see if it's true for the others.
I'm pretty sure that all of those are, for example, if you look at I'm looking at your slide here, existing members, distributing associates, the 180 turnaround kit, the 180 lean and healthy kit, or the 180 smoothie kit.
No, I think right, but I thought she was referring to the next one down.
Yeah, the next one down, that's any of the 180 kits.
Yeah. Any 180 kit.
Okay. I guess we just didn't have the whole thing on there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it says that. I think it's comprehensive. I don't know. Waist to height ratio supersedes BMI now. Waist in inches should be no more than height in inches. Oh,
well, if waist in inches were the same as height in inches, it would be pretty broad a beam.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, but there's got to be some sort of ratio there.
And again, there are all sorts of theories out there. None of these measures is perfect, and that's because there are individual differences in body type, in bone density. And so there's no perfect measure. Waist to height, BMI, none of them are perfect.
Okay, here's the correction where the person says that it's 1/2 of height in inches. So if you have a 30-inch waist, you would be 60 inches in height, or if you're 5 feet, that would be 60 inches. You would have a 21 inch.
That's still a little bit more than ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
If you're only 5 feet, then it should probably be less than 28 inches for your waist.
Yeah.
I would think
30 inches would be more like something to be appropriate for a 6-foot person.
Yeah. The vitalizing protein says it contains leucine. I wonder if it contains less than the 180.
Yes, that's what they did tell us. There was some, but not nearly as much.
Okay.
The vitalizing protein has, some of the omega guard and the raspberry extract, so it does have some other goodies.
Right. All protein contains some leucine. With the 180 smoothie mix, they added additional leucine so that you could be guaranteed, if you follow the 180 turnaround program or the 180 smoothie program, that you will get 10 to 12 grams of leucine a day.
Okay, good.
Which is sort of the magic number if you want to be sure that you're going to retain your muscle mass while you're losing weight.
Okay. Let's take just a couple more questions here. I have an older member doing the 180 program and still very hungry in the afternoon. how many B-complex would you recommend to help curb her appetite? She has a snack bar plus fruit, vegetable, plus drinking a lot of water.
So a couple of things here. I mean, you might be able to take care of that with B-complex. It's possible that I don't remember whether she said she was taking the glucose regulation. That could be very important. But the other thing that often helps is to break up those calories. And she may not need to eat as much as dinner or as much during lunch. She may need to take those same calories and distribute them in smaller snacks throughout the day.
And if the hunger is an issue, we've also found that if people will put a scoop in of either the energizing soy protein or the instant protein, that seems to help curb their hunger more too.
And eat your veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Have veggies already washed and ready in the refrigerator. You don't have to prepare them. They're just there, cut and ready for you.
Right. And you can, snack on those to your heart's content.
Right.
Well, that is a wrap. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Hannah. It was enjoyable working with you this evening. And we will be back next week.
Right.
And the topic next week is Escape from the Dark World of Depression Naturally. Mm-hmm. So that'll be good. Yes. See you all then. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.